Yo, 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 what the deal? It's your boy X.E.L.O. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Thank you for coming back. But if you are new here, definitely like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. So that'll let you know when I drop another video. If you are here for beats, I have a link below. It's called Beats You Need. Or you can just go directly to my website. That's going to be XELOHH.com. All right. So I know y'all are ready for the 2021.09 release of Cakewalk by BandLab. They added a lot of nice things in here, and let's go over it and see what we can find. All right, let's go. All right, so here we are in Cakewalk, and this is my dark theme. If you're interested in this theme or my light theme, I have a link below. You can download it for free. Or if you're not sure how to install themes, I have a video showing you how to install themes as well. All right, so many people will actually open up Cakewalk in this new edition, and they'll get a pop-up and it'll say, hey, your driver is not compatible with Cakewalk. And it'll ask you to do the Wasabi setup. So if that is something that is popping up on your screen, I would say do it and see how the results are for your audio if you are just updating. If you are not just updating, this is your first time, then set it up with the Wasabi, and that should be perfectly fine and getting you guys ready and set up to go. And if you have like any issues with that, you can definitely go into the preferences, go to the preferences and set up your ASIO drivers to what you want it to actually be. It's just a recommendation. You don't have to actually follow what it says on there to do, but it's a recommendation. So if you're actually having audio issues and things like that, then that would more than likely be the reason you're having it right now in Cakewalk. All right, so once seeing that we're in the preference menu, they added the audio snap. They added a new time detection method, and it's called the multi-resolution. So it's a more updated way to actually get your transients correct inside of your audio. So if you're a person that manipulates the audio, like say you had a drummer session and it's the wave file and you wanted to kind of move everything and align it, this would actually help you do that a lot better now that the transients are more accurate. So if you go here to the transient detection, it'll probably be on the spectral one. You can change it to this multi-resolution one to have the updated version of that for your audio snap. And just hit apply and then OK. So let's give an example. All right, so I'm just going to grab a sample. Maybe hit this little arrow here so you drop down, you can kind of see it. Let me pull it in some. As you see, the wave is here. So if I click on the wave and I go up to views and go to audio snap palette, this will bring up the audio snap screen. So you can use this screen to do any kind of transient detection. So if I turn it on, you'll see now that it has the detection lines. So this is basically a better version of what they had before for audio detection. So it should be detecting the transients a lot better in this version. All right, so turn that off. All right, and so another feature that they added was the MIDI. You can actually pull in multiple MIDI tracks at one time. So, example, I'm gonna go MIDI groove clips. All right, so let's say I wanted these three, right? I can just grab and drag them on here, and now it'll do all three of the audio files at one time. So I'm gonna Control Z that to get rid of it. So I'm gonna drag it back over again, but this time I'm gonna hold down Control and Shift. And what this does is it's gonna stagger the MIDI. So as you see, it goes, it starts when the other ones end. So you can stagger your MIDI that way. If you wanted it all to line up one after another after each other, I'll show you that as well. So if you add an instrument, I'm just gonna create a TTS1, that's fine. And I do that same Control and Shift and grab these. As you see, it went and put it one behind the other. So it's this one, and then this one at the end. So now they have their own sections. as you can see here. And that's one of the features that they added, so you can add multiple MIDIs at one time in Cakewalk now. All right, so they've added some nice graphical things to Cakewalk as well. So I'm just going to double click on this piano roll here. And I'm going to go to View, and I'm going to go to Edit Articulation Maps. So the articulation map has a nice, new, sleeker look to me. I like the way it looks with the gray on top of the gray kind of thing. And they've added this kind of template to all the other things inside of Cakewalk as well, like your export and your track bounce. So I'm going to show you the track bounce now. So let's say I wanted to bounce this section. So I'm going to go to track, bounce to tracks. And as you see, it has a new setup now for your bounce to tracks. And you can go through different setups that you want to actually do. It's going to tell you what destination. So they just made it a little more smoother to actually do it. And you can change like your format. You have dithering. All these are in here. So you have the option to take off your effects if you want to. And you get to set your range. So you can set whatever range you want to. Seeing that it's only 4 bars. You see it's only doing the 4 bars. So if I hit OK, it's just going to render out that piece and make a new one. So now I have the piano here. So yeah, so those are some of the really nice features that they added in here, and the look is amazing. So now let's go over the main event, the reason we're all here, the export. All right, so this is a project that I actually did. It's like a real quick drill beat that I did. I want to show you a lot of the things that I added that can actually help you out when you're exporting your tracks now. So the first thing I want to look at is over here in the browser section. If you go to your browser notes, let's say we name the track, let's say it's all right, and I'm gonna put the artist, right? So now we have this setup over here that's telling me the name of the song, the album, and who the artist is, right? So we have that set up on here. So now let's actually arrange the track really quickly and show you what that means, what that does. So if you didn't know, you can hit K on your keyboard. If you have anything highlighted, it'll mute those tracks. So these are all muted now just because I hit K on the keyboard. All right, so I made a real quick arrangement here, just a couple of little things in here. So I'm gonna go to my arranger now over here. Click on Show High Arranger, and I'm just gonna drop these down. So this will be arrangement 1. And I'm gonna duplicate it. And what I'm gonna do is, all right, so I made it 2 verses for this second arrangement. And all this is gonna make sense once I actually start exporting. All right, so I think that's where I'm gonna stop. I'm just gonna try to see if we can get everything set up now. I'm gonna go up here to export, and we're gonna go to this one that says advanced, or you can just go to file and then go to export and click on audio. Either way, it will be the same thing. So this is what the new export looks like. It's very vast. It has a lot of different things you can actually do in here. You have an option to actually do presets, and you can save them on here. So if you have a certain place you put all your projects, you can actually have a preset for that setup. You can have it for your name or your file name and location. That's right here. You can change your formats. Everything is editable in here, and actually you can save it as well. All right, so let's start from the top. So right here, you can select what you want. They have some pre-saved presets. So if you just wanted to do buses or clips, your entire mix, or just the tracks and track through entire mix as well, all of those are in here. And I'll kind of explain as I go along with this. All right, so the file name and location, this is very important to where you can put your project name in here. You see it has my project name, but if I didn't want that, I can delete it out of here and just name it whatever I want it to. So I can just name it Sunshine if I wanted to, right? But it gives you some really nice options in here. So if I deleted this out and then say I wanted to build some names, I can go in this little tags place right here. And in here, you can change the project name. You can do it by the tempo, the key, whatever you want pretty much, you can actually do it in here. Okay, so there's some presets in here as well. So you can see how it will look if you added your own in here. All right, so basically you want to go through the name. You might want to do the name. This is the first one that pops up, and usually the one that people use, the actual project name. You can put that in there. You don't have to. You can use the tempo, meters, key, and TAS. So like pretty much anything in here you can actually do. So you see over here, remember when I did the notes? So this here is for your project notes. So if I wanted to put the name of the song, as you see, it'll be right there. It shows it here. If I wanted to put the album, but you see how I just put it right next to each other? You can change that. So I'm gonna back this one out that says notes, right? I'm gonna go back in here into my tags place, and I wanna put a space. So you can put a space, you can put a underscore, you can put a dash, a comma. So these are your separators here. So you can do that. So I can put a space and put a dash, right? And then put a space and then put album. So now it'll look like that. This is the album. This is the name of the song. And I can put the artist. Then I could put another space, put my dash, put a space, and then put the artist. So now I have the name of the project, the album, and I have the artist at the end. Or you can change the order however you want to do it. But I think that's pretty cool that they have that in here. So let's say I wanted to save that. So we're going to name it, and I hit save preset, and it's going to say create preset for XEO1. All right. So now if I take this off and go back in here, and I go to XEO1, as you see, it pops up whatever I saved as a preset inside of this section here, the tags section. I think that's pretty cool. So you can do a whole bunch of different things. You can do the date and time, the audio export properties. So all of this information can actually be in here. So the selection, the duration, the start, the source, and it even has the arrangements. So if you want to do arrangement, you can do that as well. And this little button here to use abbreviated tokens. So you saw how I had the whole name on there. If you do the abbreviated, right? And let's say you did name again. Now it only has an N there. It doesn't have the whole name. So if I unclick this, right, and I go name, you see it says notes name. So now you have a way to actually shorten it up so you can see what you're doing if you want to do that. I like the abbreviated ones. It looks like it takes up less space. So I'll run with those. All right. So let's go over here. Let's actually name it. Let's just do the name of the, and I'll leave it at that. Close this out. So I'm gonna go over here to where it says the projects folder and audio export. So this is where it'll actually send your bounce. So if anything you bounce will actually go here. So if you hit on this folder, you can choose where you want it to go. So right now it's just gonna go into the Cakewalk projects as an audio export inside of the Cakewalk file. So let's say you want to send it to your desktop, and I added 2 test folders on here. So I'm gonna do test 1, and I'm gonna select that folder. So now anything I make for this bounce will go to this folder, right? So we're gonna move down to the format section. So you have your waves, you can change your format. You have MP3s, you have OGG bounces that you can actually do. But I'll leave it on wave for right now for this one. I'm gonna change this to 44, and I'm gonna change this to 24-bit. Then you actually have an option to dether here if you want to. And you have buffers. So basically what this does is it gives you an option to bounce the tracks faster if you want to bounce them faster. Me personally, I'm probably gonna leave it on playback, but if you wanted to, you can change the speed so it'll actually bounce your tracks faster in this version of the export. But I'll leave it on playback. And what to export is a really cool feature, an option that they have in here now. So right now it's set on entire mix, which means it'll just do the whole entire track. You have an option just to do tracks by themselves. So it'll spread out the tracks. You can do tracks through the entire mix. And what this does is if you have like buses and effects, anything like that, this is the one you want to use if you're going to do your track outs and actually have whatever effects and things you put on those tracks. All right, so you have buses, hardware outputs, entire mix, and you have arrangement, and you have arranger sections. So I can even break it down to just do whatever sections I want from the arranger, or I can just do the arrangements themselves. So let's do some arrangements, seeing that I already have them on there. So I have arrangement 1 and arrangement 2. So I'm gonna uncheck arrangement 2. All right, so if I uncheck arrangement 2, you'll see down here that where it says add task to queue, this file will change to just 1. As you see, it just says 1 file now because it's only going to export that 1 file. And this is really, really cool if you are in TV film kind of stuff. This way you can actually do your stings, you can do your 30-second, you can do your 1 minute or 60-second one, just drums, bass and drums, no drums. So this makes it really easy to actually do that in here. And you can set it up to make it name that way as well. And you can make them do different tasks to get this accomplished. So this mix and render section gives you the option to change your buses and effects and whatever is going to go on to the track. You can actually render the stuff in real time. And you can have audible bounce for all of the ones that you actually do. So let's see if we can get everything set up. So the project is going to do whatever the range is. I'm going to add these to the queue. So it's going to do both of those files. And I'm going to name these, I'll name them arrangements. And this way you can do multiple ones if you really want to. And that's what I'm really feeling about this new export feature that they added on here. But if you wanted to, and down here in the task queue, you can actually go to these little 3 dots down here. And it'll give you an option to rename the file. You can actually delete it. You can update the task with the current settings. So if you change any of the settings on here, like say you change it to MP3, you hit update the settings, it'll update the settings for the actual bounce down here. Recall task settings basically means that you'll be bringing in whatever you did before back into the task settings. And you can also open the export location so you can see where you're sending the stuff in this section as well. All right, I'm gonna delete this, right? Delete task, yes, I'm sure I wanna delete it because I wanna change it up. So I'm gonna do this arrangement 1 by itself, and I'm just gonna name it Sunlight. Let's name it, let's put something else on here. Sunlight 2 verses, right? So now you see it says Sunlight 2 verses, and I'm gonna add this to the queue. And I can leave it on task 1 instead of just keep typing. So now I'm gonna uncheck this arrangement. I'm gonna check this one, arrangement 2, and I'm gonna put this as 4 verses. So I have Sunlight 4 verses, and if I wanted to, I can change the location. So I'm gonna change this and put it in another folder. So I'm gonna go back to the desktop and I'll go test 2 for this one, right? I'm gonna select that folder. And I'm going to add it to the queue. So I'm gonna add it to the queue. So now I have my task 2. So this one is gonna go to folder 2, this one's gonna go to folder 1, and it's gonna have those names on there. All right, so let's say I wanted to let's do no drums, right? So I'm gonna put no drums. And I'm gonna go over here. This section here is for your tracks and your buses inside the project. So if I wanted to actually mute all the drums, I can do that. All right, so and if you do like a control shift on these, you can click all of them at the same time. If you have a really large file and you just want like specific pieces, you can do that. This control and shift. So I'm gonna mute these, all the drums on here. So mute the kick, the rim. So all of those are muted. So if you had like a bus, you can mute the bus. Like if I had my drums going to a bus right now, I can mute that bus and it wouldn't pull any of that stuff unless you have it, going through a reverb or something like that. All right. So I'm only going to do this for arrangement 1 and muted those. So I'm going to add this one to the queue. All right, and task 3, and that's going to go to the test 2 folder. And now if I want another one, I'll click on arrangement 2, and this time we're going to change it up. As you see, that control and shift makes a big difference and makes it a lot easier and quicker to do stuff. So I can just do drum and bass. So I'm going to get rid of this, get rid of this. So now I'm going to name this one drum and bass, right? So I have that going to the test 2 folder as well. I'm gonna add it to my queue. And what's cool, like I said before, you can actually rename these if you need to. So I can rename this one and just tell myself that it's drum and bass. Put this one as no drums. Go here, rename. All right. So now we have everything named. This is truly amazing. And like I said, if you are a composer and you actually are using Cakewalk, this will help your export tremendously. Instead of going back in here and then trying to figure it out another way, you can just do them all at one time. And I can run these tasks and it's going to process everything how I have it. So It's telling me that there's 4 tasks ready and all of them are separated. So I'm just going to run the task so I can show you what it does. And as you see in the background there, it'll actually do the arrangement how I have it set up on the side there. So this is arrangement 2. And it's going to the other test folder. All right, so it actually completed. I believe they took away the toast menu that was popping up. I guess too many people were complaining about the toast, so they decided not to put it on here for right now. All right, so this kind of shows you like the power of this export that you actually have here. If you wanted to actually bounce the tracks out to separate files, let me pull up the file so you can see them. All right, so I'm gonna do the test 1 first. Bring that in. Close that folder. So I'm just gonna kind of expand them so you guys can kind of see. All right, so these are the WAV files that actually exported. This was the regular clip by itself. So I can solo that. All right, so they all came through and all of them are actually able to play. And this one was the drums and the bass. So there's no sound in the beginning. So about right here. And then you have just the actual no drums. Really, really, really cool stuff. If you just had it to where you have an artist and when you bouncing out, you give them the acapella, you give them just the beat, you can give them the beat with like their ad-libs so they can do shows, and you can even bounce out the whole track. So this is like definitely a way, this is definitely a faster way to get exports out for your clients for whatever you're doing. So I think they did a phenomenal job on this for sure. All right, so now let's say we want to like bounce out the tracks. So I can go to tracks through entire mix, and it's telling me all the tracks that are there that I can select on this side. So if I wanted to unselect all of them, I can do that Control and Shift and unselect all of them, or I can just click all of them to set it up that way. So this is a good way to actually track out your stuff. And you can do all this at the same time just by making more tracks, more cues inside of this section. And it'll bounce all of them at one time. I used to hate going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth when doing any kind of project. And this, like I said, is definitely a game changer for me. I really like it. So now I have all of them stemmed out, so I can do it to where I have the track. So I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna delete that out of there. And I'm going to put it as, I'm gonna do the name because I like the name of it. And then I'm gonna do, see this track in clips properties, I can do it by track. So let's put a space Let's put a dash and let's put track. So it's going to do the track name. So it's going to tell me it's the sample tank 4.1. So if I name this to whatever the actual instrument was, I'm sorry about that. I'm just being lazy, I guess. And close that out. So now I have the Sunlight sample tank 4. So it'll do that for all of them. So it'll do the 3 and 4 here, the 808, and I'll have my kick and everything in here. Remember, name your stuff. I know I didn't do it on here. I'm sorry. Just kind of trying to get the video out for you guys, but make sure you're naming your tracks, guys. All right. So it's going to go to the test 1 folder, and that's fine. And I can do the entire project. And I'm going to add this to queue. So now it's going to bring up that screen, just like it did before, tell you, hey, all of these are going to be named this. Is this what you want? You know, like basically. Do you want to proceed? I'm going to hit OK. And as you see, it's 11 files in here. So I'm just going to name them trackouts. And if I run the task, it's going to start running them. So before I do that, let's add one more. And I'm going to take off the tracks here. And just have the name. And this time, I'm going to just do it as a MP3. And I'm going to add it to queue. No, I'm actually going to change this. Let's do entire mix, right? So I want the entire mix to be MP3. And I'm going to do add task to queue. And boom, you have your MP3 options that pop up on here. Instead of 320, I'm going to do the best quality. And I'm going to hit OK because I'm not filling out the information down below. All right. And let's put this MP3. All right. And this is also going to the test folder 1. So I'm going to run the task and it's going to do all those tracks. You'll see it kind of go through and mute or solo the tracks that we're actually doing when it's running the process of doing the actual tracks, or the trackouts, I should say. All right, and as you see, it's soloing this one, so it's going to process that. All right, and as you see, all of them have check marks, which means that it went through. I'm going to show you in that folder, that track folder 1. All right, so as you see here, it has the other stuff I did for the verses 2. It has my 808, the drill clap, the drums, my sounds, and the MP3 as well. So all of them have actually bounced. So yeah, I hope you guys got something out of this video. If you do have any questions or comments about it, please leave it below in the comment section. And this is the Cakewalk 2021.09 edition. And I think that's it. So make sure you guys like, make sure you guys comment, make sure you guys follow, and hit the bell notification so that can let you guys know when I drop another video. And once again, it's your boy, X.E.L.O. Till next time, people. Peace.